This is Joseph Victorious with another Bryan Kohberger. Did he do it? Did he not? So, some interesting new evidence has come to light. It looks like the shadow of O.J. Simpson lurks over this trial because apparently Kohberger was apparently framed, which is one of the theories I came up with in my previous videos. You see, they found blood on one of the rails inside the home. How do you find blood on the rails inside the home from DNA of somebody that did not live at the home? In addition, they found blood in a glove outside the home. If this is true, and considering the implications of the glove, hence the shadow of O.J. Simpson, here's my theory. And by the way, there was an eyebrow not matching description previously in the news about this case. So, allow me to share my keen insight, my friends. So my theory is, in combination with previous theories, because now you have to add an adaptation to it, slightly modify it. Bryan Kohberger was obsessed with either one of the girls or all of them. He had met them at the cafe. I believe one of them rejected him, and they just never disclosed that to the public. Bryan Kohberger may be a stalker. He may be a pervert. He may be a, obsessive compulsive, peeping Tom, or whatever the case may be. But Bryan Kohberger may actually not be a murderer. You see, it's possible that the real murderer or murderers, because apparently the article didn't specify whether that DNA from the handrail and the DNA from the glove were one and the same. I believe it's actually from two different people, if I'm not mistaken, what the article said. How could it be two different people? Unless the killings were done by two different guys, not Kohberger. And you see, the glove is very interesting. Why wear a glove unless you're planning to not get DNA evidence from your hands inside of the home? However, that glove also indicates that whoever had it could have, most likely, and my theory I think is that they found the knife sheath from Bryan Kohberger. They found a knife or both and then used that weapon to frame him, conveniently leaving the sheath of the blade in the bed of one of the victims, because it's the perfect cover-up. And perhaps they weren't considering that, or were thinking that they committed the perfect crime, framing Bryan Kohberger with the same knife that he owned or owns. And thinking they never left any DNA in the scene. But the thing is that they did. 2 DNAs. And you have to go back to the party that was happening, I think either the night before or the night before that, at the house. Over 100 people. Bryan could have been one of those people. I mean, he was at the house frequently. It's not out of the realm of possibility. He may have been stalking them or trying to hack into their Wi-Fi, but if he was at the home, at a party, it's a perfect way for the real murderers to also be at that party. Imagine that. Then they get the knife sheath either from him at the party or from him when he was inside the house, and his knife sheath must have been in his car or something like that. Laying around, maybe in the passenger seat with the window slightly open. Geez, how convenient. I can grab it and then use that to murder the victims. Now, of course, there is a possibility that it's only Bryan that got caught because his knife sheath happened to be left in the bed, and the other two murderers who collaborated with him are all in on it. This could have been a three-man operation. That is true. It's very possible. But until they identify the individuals from that DNA, which I'm sure they're trying to do now through genealogy and such methods, they won't be able to do anything. And if they can't find them, or rather that's what I meant to say, if they cannot find them, that means there's a good possibility Bryan Kohberger will walk free on a hung jury. Like I said before, the fact that there was a party recently and that he could have been there and somebody could have taken his knife, which was one of my previous theories, this makes even more sense because it's almost like the missing piece of the puzzle. Who took his knife? Well, now you know, the two guys who have DNA left at the crime scene, which, by the way, the police knew about it but they didn't say anything during the original incidents, and for that alone, the judge may throw out the case on a mistrial, or the mistrial may be requested, or something to the matter, or something similar. But you get my point. Now, yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen. If the glove don't fit, must have quit. This is not what O.J. Simpson's lawyer said. Well, in this case, the glove fit very well, and most likely dropped the weapon in the bed on purpose, trying to avoid getting DNA from the real killer. But either way, Bryan Kohberger is probably going to walk free. I said he was before, and the point I was trying to get at a few seconds ago was that, yeah, because if you have somebody who was for an hour, 2 hours, didn't call the police, that's highly suspicious. One of my theories is that she collaborated. Maybe she still did. Maybe she's the fourth collaborator. Meaning, in the theory that Bryan was with the two guys, as an alternate theory, she could have been the fourth. Or maybe she's just the one that let the two real killers in there. I think they should turn their focus on her, because there's a chance that they might find the two perpetrators who may be friends of her. Either way, if I was in the jury, I certainly wouldn't convict this man, because you need indisputable evidence. Indisputable. Not slightly indisputable or partially or somewhat or, indisputable. That means absolute. Okay. And the fact that there's two possible murderers loose out there, which is highly disturbing, then you just can't convict him. You just can't. Now, he may still serve time for stalking and other charges, but the first degree, second degree, or etc. murder, that probably won't stick. And he'll be free either on a mistrial, some technicality, some error by the police, some, which I mentioned earlier, and which is deliberate error, but and or like acquitted by a hung jury, Or maybe like everybody says no, I'm not gonna vote him like guilty because it's not absolute, you know. It is not absolute, so you just can't. My friends, this has been a fascinating ride into the criminal world. I should talk to you all later. By the way, follow me on Instagram. That will be a Dimensional Inquisitor. Dimensional Inquisitor. You should all know also that I have a company that does cybersecurity, IT, AI, and many more things. Inquiries about that can be had at my YouTube channel. And you can email me there. You could also find my resume on LinkedIn. And yeah, it's a lot coming up. Very busy slate. I also have some investments in the stock market, but that's another story for another time. Ooh, I do have one last thing to say. Let's see. Be careful the hearts that you hurt, the lies that you spew, the secrets you hide when you're trying to get high off the alcohol. This is for you know who it is. Because next thing you know, you got a whole shitstorm coming your way. A legal one, if you catch my drift. See ya.